Hey guys, it's Miss Allen. Today I thought we could do another one of those watercolor techniques. I've shown you guys some transfer with ink using tissue paper, colored tissue paper from present wrapping. And today I thought we could use washable markers to transfer ink. But not only are we using markers, we're also going to be using some plastic bags. I think you're going to really enjoy it and it's going to be super fun. Here we go. What you'll need for this project is a pack of washable markers. I have Crazy Art ones here with me today. You can also use Crayola or watercolor markers that would work as well. You need a piece of cardstock, and I did a little design on mine. You don't have to do the design. You can have a picture, you can have words, or you can just have a plain piece of paper. Now, I'm using cardstock because I don't have a watercolor paper, but something thick like the cardstock paper or something a little bit nicer like watercolor paper will be great. You'll need a brush, a nice soft paintbrush, and a cup of water to help with the transfer. And you'll need a plastic Ziploc bag. Now, well, or it doesn't have to be Ziploc, but plastic bag. This is subconsciously, I kind of cut this by accident, just perfect for this. But if you have a bigger piece of paper, you don't have to use a sandwich bag. Obviously, you can use one of the big gallon bags. Any size that you want, just know that whatever size you pick, that's going to be the size of your print. So if I pick a sandwich bag and I have a really big piece of paper, it might not be as full as I want it. I wanted this to be real nice and full of color on top of this. So making sure that I had a good size bag for the size of paper I have was important. But let's get started. If you're putting any designs on your piece of paper, you're going to want to use a Sharpie if you're doing it beforehand. The reason why is because the other markers are washable. I'm not very positive that it would change how it is on the paper, but if I'm using a Sharpie or some other type of permanent marker, I know it's not going to change. So having this will keep my designs from getting blended in with the colors I'm also putting on top of it. So just be aware, if you're putting something on this, make sure you have a Sharpie for it. A similar technique that you can use for this project involves a spray bottle. So instead of the paint brush and the water, you would spray the bag with the color and then flip it over onto the paper. And I'm going to also spray my paper so it gets extra water. This is an option because obviously not everyone probably has a spray bottle at your house, but if you do, that's a pretty good option. And I think, if I have a prediction, I think it's going to be easier to spread the colors with the spray bottle than it is with the paintbrush, but we'll find out. So I have a piece of paper underneath my message paper that I'm going to be coloring. I have a plastic bag that I'm just going to lay on top, and I'm going to use my washable markers to color different spots of the bag. Now I picked 4 colors and I stuck with warm colors. You can do all kinds of colors on this. The more colors you add, the more they're going to bleed and blend together. So that's kind of up to you. But I'm going to color the bag with the markers first, just in random spots. So let's get that done. So once I have the bag colored, I'm going to set it to the side just for a moment, and I'm going to paint water over top of my picture. The more water I put here, the better it's going to be. It's going to, if I don't do a lot of water and it's just a damp piece of paper, what will end up happening is it'll make a print and it'll stamp, but I won't be able to blend it. if I put a lot of water on this, which you don't, that's why you need a thicker piece of paper. But if I put a lot of water on this, I'm gonna have more opportunities to blend. But once the water's on, I'm gonna take my plastic bag and I'm gonna drop it down on top and push. So I'm gonna start rubbing my marker in different spaces. So I thought that came out well. I kind of like this broken, bleeding, coloring ink thing that's going on here. I do wish it would have covered a little bit better. I feel like once I put it down, that's just where the colors were. And that's probably because I couldn't get enough water on this paper. Like I was saying while I was doing this, if you just get a damp piece of paper, then when you put the bag on top, it just makes more of a stamp instead of a bleed. So I'm hoping that this time when I do another one with the spray bottle, that will give it enough water for it to really kind of blend and move on the paper a little bit. Let's see what happens. And we're done. So I think the blue one that was using the spray bottle was a little bit more effective, and I know that it blended better because this piece of paper had more water on it than my other one did. But this one came out really cool, and I kind of like that I can see the streaks of color in this orange one that I use. So it does, you can tell that both became kind of watercolored and they look really cool. I hope you guys experiment with this and see if you can't do better than I can. And remember, if you don't want this white, you can always go back with a pair of scissors and trim until nothing but the color is there. And that would be an easy way of getting around having a bigger piece of paper with a smaller sandwich bag like I did. But I hope you had fun, and I'll see you later. Bye.